Brian, I don't know if you know this or not, but we've been actually given the greatest mission of all time right here on this earth. It is the greatest mission. It surpasses all things, any career, any success, anything that you've got. It's better. We're going to talk about what that is. Would you like to know?
Is it a mission possible or impossible?
For some people, it just depends on who you are.
Let's unravel this.
Welcome to the Called to Love podcast, a show dedicated to exploring how human relationships and intimacy with God are connected. Join us as we discuss hard-hitting topics that inspire and motivate you to go deeper into the intricacies of building meaningful relationships. Here now are your hosts, James Levisee and Brian Knoedl.
Brian, you know what I wonder a lot when people are watching these podcasts we're doing?
Tell me.
Are they ever going to talk about anything else?
Probably.
Because, I mean, I guess there's 1,000 different ways we could talk about the same subject, but really we never really changed the subject. I mean, pick something, and it's all going to go back to this relationship with God. That's what it's going to go back to. How is it? If it's shaky and you don't feel like you're on speaking terms, or that he's going to listen to you, or maybe you haven't done a good enough job that he's going to reward you, or you haven't ran long enough to get a reward yet, like my little puppy dog. If that's you, then I could see why you wouldn't like talking to him or feeling like you were disqualified to talk to him. And all we ever say is he wants a relationship with you. He wants to be close to you. His mercies are new every day. He's full of grace. He already knew what kind of problems you were going to encounter, how you were going to fail, and how he was going to encourage you and how he was going to forgive you. And he sent his son. People, I don't know if they really get that. He sent his son. Even when I say it, it doesn't sound big enough. He sent his son to die for you. I mean, can you imagine? You go into war. Can we put my son on the front lines? Can we do that? Well, I mean,
that would definitely not be instinct. That would that would raise a red flag. Hey, can you put my son on the front line?
Yeah, and the general's saying, "No, sir, you're the king." No, sir, we have grunt soldiers for that. I know, but I want my son out there to die for him, because I know if the son of a king goes out before him, they'll be inspired to do great things. Can you imagine that? The son of the king going out first. I don't know, man. And it's bigger than that. So he already knew. So if he did that, if he sent his son to be a living sacrifice for you, then he knew that you were going to need that to make it through all the junk that you're going through.
So Creator became creation.
Yeah.
And he dwelt among us.
Yeah, and gave you the keys to manage creation.
He also modeled relationship. The first thing he did was he realized he was on a mission. He could not accomplish the mission or let the mission continue long after he's gone unless he raised up someone to carry on the legacy, carry on the mission. He picked 12 guys. They were not theologians. They were not perfect. They were fishermen. One of them was considered the most hated and ran among notorious sinners, and that was a tax collector, Matthew. What Jesus modeled was, I'm not only going to rescue and redeem humanity, I'm going to model what it looks like to love one another. I'm going to model what it looks like to love my Father, be in relationship with him, spend time with him. Disciples were always looking for him. Where are you at? I got away so I could be with my Father. Then he modeled what he looked like when he was teaching them and telling them, this is what I want to reveal to you. This is what I'm showing. Always pointing to the heart of the Father. Always pointing. And then this last commandment was unbelievable, but it sounded so much like the other, they missed it. He was saying, I want you to love me. Yeah. And the only way that you can love one another is if you love like me. And the only way I loved is I had the Spirit of God in me, in my human body, empowering me. And if he had to have Holy Spirit to love people, which allowed him to reach out and love people and minister to them and pray for them and heal them and walk out with them, how much more do we need Holy Spirit to do the same thing? And you brought up a great point. If I feel unqualified, or if I have a wrong perception or mindset of the way the Father sees me, it's because I have a wrong mindset of the way I see myself. And until that changes, I'm never going to be able to walk in the importance of having my own mission, and that is to love and leave a legacy behind on my life and what my life purpose was, and that was to point people to Jesus. So when we tell people, well, you need to go out and you need to be in relationship with people, they're like, I did that. That didn't work out real well. That backfired on me. I actually made more enemies doing that. I even went to a new church, and I can never go back. And suddenly what we find is they knew what to do, but without the Holy Spirit, they didn't know how to do it. And our whole lives are all about being led by the Holy Spirit. If we would have been led by the Holy Spirit, would we have made this decision? Would I have done this? Would I have been in this relationship? Would I went to this job? Would I have gone to this church? Would I have been in this situation? And this is what happens. And so the Bible's very clear. God is very clear. This is what I want you to do. You know, same way with marriage. Marriage is an honorable thing, but he doesn't tell you who to marry. Holy Spirit, who lives inside of us, is leading and guiding us to the measure we're willing to yield and listen to him and hear what he's got to say. He's wanting us to be in relationship with people. We're praying for God would bless us. We're praying for God to move heaven and earth, and the very things we're praying for involve people. But if we don't know how to be in relationship and love people, forgive people, then we're sabotaging the very thing we're praying for.
Yeah. It is the greatest mission that we're on. You make no mistake about it. We are on this amazing mission that was passed down to us from God himself through his Son.
That's right.
If you think about how sacrificial God is, he appointed his Son to be named the highest name above all names. And then he appointed the Holy Spirit to dwell with us, in us. You would think the Father would be like, okay, guys, hey, thank you for dying for him. Holy Spirit, thank you for raising him from the dead and all that you do. I appreciate you. I'm going to do the others. I'm going to live with them. I'm going to be down there with it's so, to me, if I really get to thinking, really geeking about it, he's really putting everybody first.
He is.
He's letting them play ball. Well, how much more is he going to let you play ball? Here's what I'm thinking. This big, huge mission, there's people that live for power. There's people that live for success, money, financial success, things like that. There's people that are, looking for the perfect mate, the perfect job, the perfect church, all these things. They're looking for it. And, man, we done got the greatest mission. I mean, you think about it. You think about man, I'd like to fly a fighter. I'd like to be a fighter pilot. That'd be cool. Man, you've got the coolest job already. I mean, I'm not kidding. You have got the coolest job. You're on a mission, and you can stomp the devil into the mud, and he can't touch you by the authority of Jesus Christ. There are some limited things that he's allowed to do. And whatever it is, it's for the greater good and glory of God that we overcome whatever it is, that we get promoted and promoted and promoted and promoted. I mean, you talk about Green Berets, special forces. I mean, going into the depths of hell and pulling people out and rescuing them there and showing them the light of Jesus Christ, and the enemy shudder at the very presence of God in you. That's crazy. That's crazy power. You can just go to work tomorrow and just be happy that you've got this whole thing under control because God's for you and nobody can be against you. It doesn't matter if somebody's cussing you out. It's okay. Hey, I'm gonna show grace and mercy right here. Called a customer today. I was sitting there thinking, man, I could really take this guy to court. Man, I would win. I got the contract. I got the notices. I've got everything that I've done to get this guy to work with me. But then I thought, man, I don't want anybody taking me to court. I want people to be graceful with me. I want people to be merciful to me. I'm just going to give him more grace and more mercy. I don't know. People might think well, you're not a smart businessman. It ain't about the business. When the Lord puts you somewhere and you're there to steward it, you can't just say, well, I'm just going to start knocking people around. Look, hey, God, give me this big old bat, to whip the enemy with, and I'm going to start whipping my friends and family with it and showing them how good and religious God is, on my side. It don't even make sense when you talk about it.
It's not.
He says in the Bible, I promise you it's in there, if you want grace, you have to give grace. If you want to be forgiven, you have to forgive. So some people, will say, well, that sounds a lot like karma. Whatever you think it is, I'm telling you, God designed it so that we would be in relationship with him and we would be submitted to him. And when we walk under that kind of authority and we show that we're a steward of something, it's going to be given back to us. But if you go around hitting people with a baseball bat, I would not be surprised if somebody hit you with a baseball bat.
His kingdom, we've talked about this before, his kingdom is an upside down one.
Yeah.
The last will be first, and the first will be last. He, recently I had a workshop last month, and it was on Luke 6, and it was talking about, I think there were 10 subtitles in chapter 6, and the three towards the end were love your enemies, don't judge, and hanging fruit. I mean, what your fruit looks like. And it just sobering, because that in that chapter 6 also was the introduction of the Beatitudes, and him just picking 12 disciples. How would you like to pick 12 disciples and then he starts reading the Beatitudes? And it was tough, because what he was talking about is you give up your right to be right. You give up your right to protect yourself. You give up your right. There's a whole new way of thinking, and Jesus was in her, and he called it blessed are those who do this, and blessed are those that are seek peace. It was so backwards that it was almost, you read it and you're like, that don't sound a whole lot like my position on things. That don't sound like my perspective on things. And then when we got into love your enemies, and he was talking about why do you think it's you get credit for loving people that love you back? He said those who don't know God do that. He's really breaking down what it looks like to follow him, and everything keeps pointing back to you're going to have to deny yourself. And you're going to have to pick up your cross and follow me. You don't get to position yourself and then add me to your lifestyle.
Yeah.
I'm asking you to lay everything down, and I'm asking you to pick up the way I think, a life of the Spirit, not of one of the flesh or the old self life. I want you to not be offendable.
Yeah.
I want you to forgive everyone who's ever wronged you or hurt you. I'm wanting you to not, I want you to bless those. He says, I want you to bless those that curse you. I want you to I want you to care for and entertain and treat those have done wonderfully, those how they've treated you. And when you're reading it, and in our group, everybody was going, I'm not there, or, oh my God, I can't do that. And what we realized was it really means less of you on this journey of faith and more of Him. And when you do that, subsequently, you start to see people differently.
Yeah.
Not from the eyes of self, but from the eyes of being, this is how Jesus sees me. How long has He been patient with me on all of the years that I've denied Him, cursed Him, neglected Him, abandoned Him, sinned against Him, and yet He's still right here wanting my heart and my heart to know Him. So that's why He's saying, this is what you're going to have to do to die, because I did it.
Yeah.
And I said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. So there you go.
Well, the mission is for everybody, but it's not for everybody. And what I mean by that is some people just don't want to die. Like, and I mean the metaphorical spiritual death of submission to laying down your life and saying, okay, no matter what you do, you're not going to hurt me, but I'm going to be faithful and forgive you.
Revelations, it says, only those who endure to the end will be saved. That's sobering. What does that mean? Only those who endure.
It is a tough call. I mean, so I mean, it's not easy, so I don't want it to sound like, man, y'all just need to, listen to this podcast and go out there and do it. No, we were at this picnic over the weekend, and this lady who we dearly love, just as sweet as cotton candy, you would think by all interpretations of who she is and how much she loves the Lord, like she's got this thing down. But she's like, guys, I had to write down what y'all been saying because I forget sometimes. I mean, this whole forgiveness thing and forgiving people that's wronged you, and I have to, remind myself of this thing. And then later on, she went to her car, she was leaving, and her husband said, hey, could you go get me a hot dog? And she's like, well, why didn't you tell me before I got in the car? And, and so she comes up to me, she goes, see, I'm having to do it again. and I told her this story. I said, well, my wife asked me to go get her a coffee the other day, and I had to go way out of my way and go get her a coffee, and I was already doing other stuff and everything. But when I brought that coffee to her at the store she works at, her manager heard what we were doing that day for this picnic, and she probably gave me $50 worth of dessert tray that she hand put together when I went to go get the coffee. And I get back, and she gave me this big dessert tray. So I told this lady that. I said, well, when my wife asked me to get a coffee this morning, I got this big dessert tray when I got it. So maybe, just maybe, you've got a reward coming when you serve your husband, God
keeps up with everything. Nothing we do for Him, every act of kindness, every expression of love, does not go unnoticed. And that should be our inspiration.
He's a good God.
Till next time.
We hope this episode of the Called to Love podcast has enriched your life and offered valuable principles to apply on your personal journey. Please explore our website at www.calledto.love for more information and to share your feedback with us. Until our next episode, may you find peace and love. And always remember, you are called to love.